As I'm sure you have all seen, HP Tuners has just announced our latest generation of vehicle support for GM's latest control modules, commonly known as Global B. We are so excited for this new offering and cannot wait to see what our customers do with our calibration and diagnostic software, the power, the performance. And today we are here at Tapout Tuning with one of the first vehicles in the world to be running an upgraded E99 ECM from HP Tuners. This right here is a Cadillac CT4-V Blackwing. So we are here at Tapout Tuning with Scott, the founder and owner. Tell us about what Tapout Tuning is, what you guys have done.
For the last 5 years, we have worked on the Cadillac ATS-V LF4 platform. We moved into the CTS V-Sport with LF3, and for the last couple of years, we've been working on the CT4 and CT5-V Blackwings.
So what's been done to this Blackwing behind us?
This is our flagship CT4-V Blackwing, serial number 26. It was one of the first ones in the world.
Yeah.
And this one has our different belt packages go white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt. This one has our first brown belt performance package.
What has it been like modifying a CT4 Blackwing?
So it's been an uphill battle.
Okay.
Before HP Tuners, we've worked through several different hardware tuning solutions, trying to figure out a way to tune and modify the car.
So what was it like when you first heard HP Tuners is offering a solution for the E99 ECM?
We were blown away, incredibly excited, made tremendous progress already. This car has 320 dyno pulls on it, about 300 on our different hardware tuning solutions, and about 20 with the new HP Tuner solution. In 20 dyno pulls, we've made more progress than we made in the previous 300 dyno pulls.
More progress in 5 hours on a dyno than the first 24 months.
Exactly.
Struggling with it. So I'm sure you're happy about it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this vehicle has our E99 ECM upgrade service, which then allows you, the tuner, to have full access to VCM Suite. So scanning, data log, editing, reading, writing, everything, right? So we're gonna go through that today. We've got the car on the dyno. I'm excited to see how much power this thing is gonna make. Because stock, these twin turbo V6s are like 472 horsepower.
Right, 472 at the crank, about 415 at the wheels is the stock numbers.
Okay, and this one's a lot more, right?
A lot more. This one's right about 700 at the wheels, or 800 at the crank.
That's a lot. That's healthy.
For 217 cubic inches and still totally streetable, it's very impressive.
So what have you done? What has Tapout Tuning done to this vehicle to get to that level?
So this car has intake modifications.
Okay.
It has mild camshafts, ported throttle body, modified turbochargers, and a couple basic fuel system modifications.
Okay, and then E99 ECM in there for tuning to make that power?
Exactly, that's where the power comes from, is the ability to change the rev limiter, turn up the boost, access the torque limiters, that kind of thing.
That's pretty impressive. For a twin turbo V6, I mean, that's almost 800 crank horsepower we're talking, right? Yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome. So now let's hook up to the vehicle with VCM scanner, VCM editor, and show everybody how it works. All right, so now we've got the car strapped down on the dyno, and I think it's time to make a pull, right?
We're going to find out if it really makes 700 wheel.
All right, you're going to prove it to us. All right, let's do it. What's everything got to do to get the car ready to go for a dyno pull?
We're going to start it up and turn on the scanning function.
So you've got an MPVI 3 plugged in, VCM scanner running.
Right. First thing I do is on every dyno pull, I always make sure engine coolant temperature is at least 180.
Okay.
I don't want to go full boost on an engine that's not properly warmed up.
Is there anything special we have to do to get the car happy before you do a dyno pull?
Just a couple small things. First, we put it in track mode.
Okay.
That opens the active exhaust valves. It makes the most power and sounds best for the videos. Okay. And then we'll turn off traction control because the car, no modern car likes to have the front wheels sitting still while the rear tires are going 170 miles an hour.
What gear do you have to be in?
For the A10 transmission, we do 7th gear.
Okay. For
the M6 transmission, we do 4th. It's always best to dyno pull and tune cars in the 1-to-1 gear ratio if possible.
7th gear is 1-to-1 in these. Wow.
3 overdrives.
You know what I'm most surprised about? This is a twin turbo V6, and it doesn't sound like a normal twin turbo V6. It almost has a V8 rumble to it.
Yeah, that's the stage 1 cams that are giving it that amazing sound.
Yeah, it sounds properly badass. All right, dyno brake is off. Time for a pull. sounds epic. Boost is cool, and that is loud. I had to cover my ears because hearing safety.
That was 2 pulls in a row at 699 horsepower at the wheels.
Yeah.
The torque is 695 to 700 at the wheels.
That's consistency. How much boost?
About 26 pounds of boost.
Oh man.
And these turbos, we're starting the dyno pull at 3,000 RPMs, and we have full boost by 4,000, and then boost holds steady all the way to redline. You'll notice it builds peak torque about 4,000. That's going to vary, but basically whenever you hit peak boost is when you're going to hit peak torque. And the horsepower will hold all the way to redline. That won't happen on a stock LF4 engine, but that's primarily because of the stage 1 cams and the ability to tune the ECM.
Man, 700 horsepower, 700 pound-feet of torque to the wheels. I love naturally aspirated V8s, but you can't do that naturally aspirated.
Stick with us, we'll convert you.
Okay. So we've done a poll now. You've got the data log with VCM scanner. What are your next steps? What are we doing next?
So we can look at the dyno chart. We've got horsepower curve, we've got a torque curve, we've got a boost, and then we've got air fuel. We actually have dual channel widebands, so we can actually even go as far as bank to bank tuning on these cars. We'll take that information and we'll look at what we have in VCM scanner. We're logging about 60 or 70 different parameters here, and we can figure out what do we want to change. Do we want to add a little timing here? Do we want to take some timing away? Do we want to change something with fueling? Do we want to adjust the boost curve, etc.? And then we'll use VCM Editor to make those changes.
What would you say like the most important parameters in VCM scanner are when you're data logging the car, like on the dyno?
So the first thing I like to tune is fueling.
Okay.
Once I get fueling dialed in, then I can start adding boost, try to get boost somewhere in the proper area, and then I can start experimenting with ignition timing.
Okay.
I'm done with timing, I'll go back to boost. I might even go back to fueling a little bit, but I start with fueling.
So we've got VCM scanner pulled up here. What kind of parameters are you looking at in VCM scanner when you're data logging?
There are several things we can see here, and we're logging about 60 or 70 different parameters. They're called channels within VCM scanner software. And then we're actually charting about 15 or 20 that are the most important that we like to see graphically. And we'll look at the shape of the dyno chart data over here, the shape of the VCM scanner data here, and we'll kind of combine and consolidate that information together.
So Scott, I know you spent a lot of time refining the tune on this car, so we're not going to be making substantially more power than this. I mean, you could just set boost to 35 PSI and just let it.
You'd probably be best to stay naturally aspirated.
You changed your mind already. But can you walk us through, let's just say make a minor little change, show us something, how you would go into Editor, make a change. Let's walk through the process of flashing it back in the car, and let's make one more pull.
Sure. Let's say that I want to edit the MAF tables, mass airflow tables. I can go into VCM Editor here, say I'm going to add 2.2%. Right there, the entire table's moved 2.2%. These cars all have dual mass airflow sensors, so I need to do both channels. Make edits like that, and it's really cool that these cars have mass airflow sensors for each bank.
Okay.
We, on the dyno, run a wideband on each bank, and the car actually has factory widebands on each bank, so we can tune bank to bank.
Oh, okay.
That'll be one of the fine-tuning things we'll do here to sneak a few more horsepower out of it. Now that I've made some edits to the tune, I will save it. So we've got the new tune written, and now we're going to write it into the car.
Awesome, sounds good.
We're starting by turning the ignition on.
So you have an MPVI 3 plugged in and just a really long cable running here to your computer.
Yes, I'm clicking right calibration and right.
Processing flash data. And we're watching VCM Editor do its thing.
This step, it wants us to turn the ignition off. I turn the ignition off before I click this button. Now I'm clicking OK. Now it's actually flashing the ECM.
Were you excited the first time you got to see this screen with this car?
More than you can imagine. So when the 30 seconds is up, it says turn the ignition to the run position. We actually want to turn the ignition to the service mode.
So that's when you just hold it, right?
Correct.
Hold
Hold it for about 10 seconds.
Okay. Without your foot on the brake, with engine
Correct.
off.
Okay, now we're in service mode, and now we can click OK. And this step just takes a couple seconds. It says write completed.
Right completed.
So at this point, we'll turn the ignition off for 10 seconds.
So this is a much easier process than before, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How does it compare to the ATS-Vs, the previous generation?
In terms of read and write?
Yeah.
It's the read and write process is the same. There's a couple more ignition on, ignition off steps, but the process is virtually the same. Takes maybe 30 seconds longer.
That's awesome.
And now we're ready to start the car.
Start the car, I'll turn the fans on. So we just finished writing the new calibration to the vehicle via VCM Editor, and now another dyno pull. Man, wheel speed almost touches 180 on that pull.
That's actually the speed limit of the dyno.
Is it the speed limit of the dyno? But I mean, the consistency. You can't even tell there's 3 dyno pulls. It just lines on top of each other.
Yeah, it's a beautiful power band. The car's very happy.
It is good.
Next thing we'll do is we'll experiment with the fueling. We'll go 2 or 3% richer a couple times, 2 or 3% leaner a couple times. Once we get that perfected, we'll start experimenting with camshaft timing and injector timing. And that's where we'll find the last few horsepower on this.
This was so awesome seeing our product in action. You just saw everything from scanning with data logging, VCM Editor, reading, writing, everything via an MPVI-3 plugged into the OB2 port of this Blackwing with an upgraded E99 ECM. This was just really awesome to see Scott from Tapout Tuning in his element working on this car. Well, Scott, thank you so much for all the help, everything. We cannot wait to see all the amazing things you're going to do with our new GM Global B tuning support. It's been an honor to work with you.
It's been my pleasure. We've been working with HP tuners for 20 years now, and this is the most exciting thing we've done yet.
Love to hear that. We cannot wait to keep sharing with you guys more awesome product releases and, of course, all the amazing things coming from this new support from HP tuners. Thanks for watching.